Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to hear is not a drill. Remy Ma didn't just lose her cool in court. She collapsed. And the man who sent her crashing to the ground with just 2 words, none other than 50 Cent. Yes, you heard that right. The rap mogul himself took the witness stand. Not for a concert, not for a beef, but in the murder trial of Remy Ma's own son. And what he unleashed, it wasn't just testimony. It was a demolition of her entire defense strategy. Why was 50 even in that courtroom? What did he witness? And how in the world did his words have Remy's legal team in absolute chaos within seconds? You think you've seen drama on Law and Order? Please. This was reality TV meets criminal court with a dash of betrayal, lies, and a secret no one was supposed to hear. Remy thought she had the system figured out. But the minute 50 Cent opened his mouth, the courtroom turned into a battleground, and only one story survived. Buckle up because what he said might just end everything for Remy Ma. Ladies and gentlemen, you thought you'd seem messy. No. What happened inside that New York courtroom has officially redefined the word scandal. And at the center of this unraveling circus, none other than Remy Ma, rap queen turned courtroom catastrophe with 50 Cent playing the unexpected role of executioner. It all started with a case that already had the streets buzzing. The tragic, suspicious murder of Remy's 14-year-old son. A case clouded in mystery, rage, and silent tension. But no one expected this. No one thought the trial would twist into something so explosive it would leave fans, critics, and even the judge completely speechless. Remy walked into court that morning like she owned a room. Black sunglasses, icy stare, and that same Bronx don't play attitude we've seen 100 times before. But what she didn't expect, that the prosecution's secret weapon, the wild card witness no one saw coming, would be 50 Cent Yep. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, entrepreneur, actor, beef connoisseur, and now star witness in a murder trial that could decide whether Remy Ma spends the rest of her life behind bars. But let's rewind, shall we? The trial was already controversial from the jump. After Remy's son was found shot behind a Staten Island warehouse, whispers started swirling about gang ties, rap industry retaliation, and a botched cover-up. The initial story, random street violence. But insiders, and I mean the real ones, said there was way more going on. Leaked texts between Remy and a known gang intermediary revealed something disturbing coded language. The cryptic phrases like, "handle it before it spreads," and "he knew too much." Of course, Ray's team called it taken out of context. But the prosecution, oh, they weren't buying that for a second. Now, here's where things start to heat up. In a move straight out of a Netflix legal thriller, the DA's office dropped a bombshell mid-trial. They had subpoenaed someone who had first-hand knowledge of the events leading up to the murder. A witness who claimed Remy confided in him at a private party in Topeka just weeks before the killing. And that man, the one who got the subpoena, 50 Cent. At first, everyone laughed. A rapper testifying. Come on. But when 50 showed up in a charcoal gray suit, smirking like he already knew he was about to break the internet, that courtroom shifted from skepticism to pure suspense. The moment 50 took the stand, you could hear a pin drop. Not even the bafe breathed. Remy's lawyers looked rattled. Her husband, Papoose, seated just 2 rows behind her, looked like he'd just seen a ghost. And Remy, she didn't blink, not once. The prosecution asked one simple question. Mr. Jackson, did Remy Ma ever speak to you about concerns she had regarding her son's knowledge of her personal business affairs? 50 paused, then leaned into the mic and said the 2 words that reportedly made Ray's soul leave the building. She did. Yep. Just those 2 words. No over-explaining, no fluff, just a cold-blooded confirmation. And it hit like a grenade. Remy's lawyer immediately objected, shouting about relevance and hearsay. The courtroom erupted. Reporters scrambled for their phones. Twitter exploded. And Remy, according to one witness, she whispered, "He's lying." But her hands were trembling. See, here's what makes this even messier. Remy and 50 aren't just rap acquaintances. They've got history. Real tangled, revenge-fueled history. Some claim 50 is just there to stir the pot. Others say he's telling the truth and just doesn't care about the fallout. Either way, his presence absolutely nuclear. And let's not ignore the deeper issue here. If what 50 is implying is true, that Remy confided in him because her son was a liability, then this isn't just a case of emotional parenting. This becomes premeditation, motive, intent. But it gets worse. A leaked court document obtained exclusively by sources close to Gossip Bill Vibe details a private text exchange where Remy allegedly wrote, "I gave him everything. If he talks, it's over for all of us." All of us. Who's us, Remy? That's the question the entire internet started asking. Conspiracy theorists went into overdrive. Was Papoose involved? Was this connected to past beefs in the industry? Was Remy protecting someone bigger than herself? Meanwhile, the courtroom turned into a reality show set. Every day brought a new twist. One day, it was an anonymous tip. The next, it was surveillance footage showing Remy's SUV parked near the warehouse at 3 a.m. the night of the murder. Something her legal team forgot to mention in her initial alibi. And guess who provided that footage? An unnamed source allegedly paid off by a music rival who wanted Remy gone for good. The streets say it was someone linked to 50's camp, a low-key assistant turned whistleblower. But those details still fuzzy, still dangerous. Let's not forget the public reaction. The day 50 testified, social media imploded. Hashtags like #Remyon and number 50 said she did trended globally within minutes. Rap blogs had field days. Even Wendy Williams came out of hiding to tweet, "Remy, girl, you in trouble." And just when everyone thought it couldn't get messier, entered Jasmine Dior, the mother of the victim's girlfriend, and a fiery wild card in this already chaotic circus. She showed up outside the courthouse holding a sign that read, 50 told the truth. The Bronx knows. Ray's fans, meanwhile, were divided. Some stood outside the courtroom chanting, "Free Remy." Others begged her to tell the truth, claiming, "We rode for you. Don't let us down." Even celebrities chimed in. Cardi B went live saying, "This whole thing feels shady." And if 50 on the stand, you know it's personal. While Fat Joe, longtime ally of Remy, posted a cryptic prayer emoji with zero caption. So, what does this mean for Ray's case? Legal experts say that 50's testimony, while short, could be devastating. His credibility as a public figure and his history with Remy gives his statement serious weight with the jury, especially if the DA ties it to those ominous texts and the footage. And folks, we haven't even hit the biggest twist yet. Because just as court adjourned for the day and everyone thought the worst had passed, Remy Ma did something no one expected. She stood up, turned to Papoose, and whispered something so chilling. A courtroom reporter swore it felt like the final line of a mob movie. But what did she say? So, let's pick up exactly where we left off. Remy Ma, rattled and reedied after 50 Cent's courtroom ambush, turned slowly to Papoose and whispers something so cold, so spine-chilling. Even the stenographer reportedly paused her typing. What did she say? According to a courtroom insider, a legal aide sitting 3 feet away, her exact words were, "You said he'd never talk."
Boom.
In one sentence, she confirmed what the prosecution had only suggested, that there was a deeper secret understanding between her and Papoose, and that 50's testimony wasn't just shocking, it was betrayal. Now, let's talk strategy. Because Ray's defense team, they were scrambling like pigeons in a thunderstorm. The moment 50 walked off the stand, her lawyers requested an emergency sidebar, practically begging the judge to have his statement stricken from the record. But the judge not interested. In fact, His Honor made it clear. If Mr. Jackson's testimony is corroborated by additional evidence, this court will not dismiss it on procedural grounds. Translation: You're cooked, Remy. Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, things were spinning out of control. Protesters were now clashing, some supporting Remy, others screaming for justice. Someone spray-painted "Guilty Ma" on the back of her Escalade. And get this, Papoose didn't even ride home with her that night.
Yep.
Left in a separate car. No eye contact, no hand-holding, just silence. Now, let's get into the real dirt because anonymous sources, the ones that always slide into DMs when things get dark, came forward with something that set the internet ablaze. A secret recording allegedly taken by a housekeeper inside Remy and Papoose's home just days after their son's murder. In the clip, you can hear muffled voices arguing. The male voice says, "You said you'd handle it clean. Now we got 50 running his mouth on a damn stand." And the woman, allegedly Remy, responds, "I told him to stay out of it. He did this to himself." Chills right now. Obviously, Ray's PR team rushed to claim the tape was fabricated audio engineering and a desperate attempt to manipulate public perception. But the court, they didn't dismiss it. Instead, they ordered a full forensic analysis. And here's where it gets dangerously messy. While the jury was out for the weekend, prosecution released even more damning evidence. Remy's financial records. Hundreds of thousands of dollars moved between shell companies and offshore accounts just weeks before her son's murder.